Hello, guys, and welcome back to Red Hot TV. Preliminary investigation reports on Tolulope Arotile's death. On 14 July 2020, the Nigerian Air Force, and indeed the entire nation, was thrown into mourning as a result of the death of one of our shining young stars in the person of Flying Officer Tolulope Arotile, the NFA's first female combat helicopter pilot. Her unfortunate demise has elicited an overwhelming outpouring of condolences, prayers and support to the NFA as well as the Arotile family. This has no doubt been so not just for Tolulope's outstanding accomplishments at the tender age of 24, but also because of her sterling personal qualities of excellence, hard work, dedication to duty, confidence and courage, which endeared her to her superiors, subordinates and peers in the service. Unfortunately, because of the peculiar circumstances of the incident that led to her death, a rash of falsehoods, innuendos, conspiracy theories, and the likes have been propagated in the public space, especially on social media. The NFA sincerely hopes that the findings of the just concluded preliminary investigation into this unfortunate and painful incident will address the misinformed issues raised in the social media on the tragedy. Moreover, while it would have been ideal for the entire investigation to be concluded before details on the incident are released, the NFA, in sensitivity to public concerns occasioned by the spread of false information, appreciates the imperative to provide more clarity at this very difficult moment. Please note that the details being revealed today have already been communicated to the Arotile family, who ideally should be allowed to mourn their daughter and sister in peace, but for the unfortunate nature of the sad occurrence. In line with the normal procedure on the Nigerian Air Force during such occurrences, an investigation was immediately instituted to formally determine the circumstances of the incident. Accordingly, the preliminary investigation has revealed the following details. 1. The late flying officer Tolulope Arotile, a squadron pilot at the 405 Helicopter Combat Training Group, Enugu, attached to the Air Component of Operation Gamma Aiki in Mina, having recently completed her promotion examinations, was in Kaduna awaiting deployment for her next assignment. During this period, she stayed with her sister, Mrs. Damilola Adegboye, at Sabo area in Kaduna, visiting the NFA base whenever necessary. On 14 July 2020, at about 10:55 a.m., late Flying Officer Arotile received a phone call from her colleague, Flying Officer Perry Karimo, a fellow helicopter pilot from the 405 HCTG, who wanted to discuss arrangements for her return to Enugu, requesting that she comes to the base so that they could work out the modalities. Subsequently, at about 10:58 a.m., the late Arotile placed a call through to squadron leader Diepirie Batubo, the Group Operations Officer GOO of 405 HCTG, who was in Mina at the time, to clarify issues regarding her deployment. It must be highlighted that the call from Flying Officer Karimo as well as the one to the squadron leader Batubo both took place at about 11 a.m., over 5 hours before the incident which led to her death. Flying Officer Arotile was later conveyed from Sabo to the NFA base Kaduna by her sister, Mr. Adegboye, where the deceased dropped her phone for charging at the house in the instructor pilot's quarters belonging to squadron leader Alpha Ekele. Her elder sister later dropped her off at the base Mami Market at about 4 p.m., where she proceeded to photocopy and laminate some documents. It was while she was returning from the Mami Market at about 4:30 p.m. that three of her former schoolmates at the Air Force Secondary School, now Air Force Comprehensive School, Kaduna, Mr. Nehemiah Adejo, Mr. Igbekele Folorunsho, and Mr. Festus Gbayegun drove past her in a Sorento SUV with registration number AZ478MKA. It is noteworthy that Adejo, Folorunsho, and Gbayegun are all civilians who live outside NFA base Kaduna, but were on their way to visit one Mrs. Chioma Ugu, wife of squadron leader Chukwuemeka Ugu, who lives at Ekagbo quarters on the base. Upon recognizing their schoolmates, Arotile, after passing her, Mr. Adejo, who was driving, reversed the car ostensibly in an attempt to quickly meet up with the deceased, who was walking in the opposite direction. In the process, the vehicle struck Flying Officer Arotile from the rear, knocking her down with significant force and causing her to hit her head on the pavement. The vehicle then ran over parts of her body as it veered off the road beyond the curb and onto the pavement, causing her further injuries. Flying Officer Arotile was subsequently rushed to the 461 NFA Hospital Kaduna for treatment, while Mr. Folorunsho, one of the occupants of the vehicle, who is also an accident and emergency nurse at the St. Gerald Catholic Hospital Kaduna, administered first aid. Flying Officer Arotile was confirmed dead by the on-call doctor at the 461 NFA Hospital at about 4:45 p.m. on 14 July 2020 as a result of the head injuries. The trio of Nehemiah Adejo, Igbekele Folorunsho, and Festus Gbayegun were immediately detained at the Air Provost Wing 453 Base Services Group Kaduna as investigations began. They were subjected to toxicology tests at the 461 NFA Hospital, but no traces of alcohol or psychotropic substances were found in their systems. It was, however, discovered that the driver of the vehicle, Mr. Nehemiah Adejo, did not have a valid driver's license. Traffic officers from the Kawo Police Station and the Kaduna State Police Command, as well as road traffic experts from the Federal Road Safety Corps, were also called in to provide support during the investigation. Having carefully considered the foregoing, the preliminary investigation concluded that the death of Flying Officer Arotile was caused by blunt force trauma to the head and significant bleeding resulting from being struck by the vehicle. Being a civil case, the matter will be handed over to the Nigerian police with a view to further investigating and charging the suspect to court in accordance with extant laws. The Nigerian Air Force, being a highly professional and disciplined organization, will not join issues with any individuals or groups regarding the spurious allegations of foul play espoused in some quarters. Suffice it to say that Flying Officer Arotile was a pride of the NFA, in whom the service had invested massively in terms of resources, time, and energy. Consequently, it is ludicrous for anyone to even remotely insinuate malevolent intention on the part of the service against one of its prized assets. Furthermore, it is extremely sad and disheartening that rather than allow the Arotile family and the Nigerian Air Force to grieve for our dearly departed Tolulope in peace, many have chosen to politicize her death, while others are using the incident of push meritless, misguided ethnic and religious agendas. The Nigerian Air Force wishes to implore everyone to respect the sensibilities of all those who have suffered most by this loss, those who really knew Tolulope, her family, her friends, and her Nigerian Air Force colleagues. It is of absolute importance that the memory of this fallen hero and our precious child is not tainted by the propagation of misplaced sentiments and wild shenanigans. Before I end this August address, may I respectfully, on behalf of the Chief of the Air Staff, the entire personnel of the NFA, as well as members of the Arotile family, express my profound appreciation to all those who, in one way or the other, have shown concern, support, and sympathy over this unfortunate incident. Thank you for your attention. And this was signed by Ibukunle Daramola, Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigeria Air Force, 19th July 2020. Wow, what a painful story. Guys, what do you have to say concerning this? You can drop your comments in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to like. Thank you.